Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer. The DRF race of the day for Friday, February the 23rd, kicks off a 50-cent pick 4 at Gulfstream Park. It's race number 6, a maiden special weight, 5/8 of a mile on the turf. Let's take a look at this field. Lots of first-time starters, lots of horses trying grass for the first time. There's a ton to unpack in here, and it's also a pretty big field. The 8 Perilous is 4-1 on the morning line. Ran well in her turf debut, Mike. Was wired that day and fired on in the stretch.
Yeah, first time Lasix, first time turf, and that last one and did run pretty well. I suspect will be, a prime contender in this race, Dan, but it kind of feels like a wide open race.
Number 1 is Worship. This is a first-time starter trained by Mark Cassie, sold for $450,000 as a yearling. The dam was a stakes-winning turf miler at Gulfstream who won her career debut.
Yeah, never sprinted though. All of her races were going longer, and on the underneath her on the pedigree, there's some good horses in there, Dan, but they were dirt horses. I don't know. I don't love Cassie first-time starters anyway. He's got 2 in here. I kind of prefer the other one.
Yeah, she's by Distorted Humor, 15% winners with first-time starters, 12% winners with turf sprinters. Solid-looking work tab for the number 1 Worship. Javier Castellano takes the mound. It's going to have to break cleanly from this inside post position. Maybe he wants a little bit more ground. The number 2 in here is Lyanza. She is a daughter of Twirling Candy. Very underrated stallion, Mike. 17% debut winners, 15% turf sprint winners.
Like the sire quite a bit, and don't mind them sprinting on the grass either. I didn't really see anything in the female family, Dan. Maybe you could expand on that if you found something. I didn't see it. I do respect Delgado with first-time starters. He tends to have these horses ready to run. So I like that. I like the big price on the morning line. I just wish there was a little more pedigree.
Not a ton of black type in this pedigree, nor turf. This is a $20,000 yearling. She worked very quick at the June 2-year-old sale at OBS last year. A furlong and 9 and change, bought back for $140,000. You mentioned Delgado. He can win with a first-time starter. This filly looks like she's got some speed in the pedigree and showed some gas in that workout. Her Diamonds is the number 3. City of Light's done some good works thus far. 15% winners with debut runners, 21% winners with turf sprinters. This dam was a grade 3 place synthetic router.
This horse has the of the firsters anyway. This one has the pedigree that I was most interested in. This dam could run a little. She was related to a bunch of horses, a bunch of siblings that could really run. And this is that Samson female family that goes back to Soaring Free, who was he was a really, really good turf sprinter. So I like this horse's pedigree. Kelly Breen can win with the first-time starter. There's a fast half-mile breeze earlier this month. This was the first I was most interested in.
And maybe the tell is that Jose Ortiz, one of the leading jockeys, is named to ride a $20,000 short yearling who sold for $30,000 as a yearling. Cassiopeia is the number 4. First-time starter trained by Kelsey Danner. This one is by Army Mule. 17% winners from first-time starters, 20% winners from turf sprinters. The third dam, the Great Silver Bullet Day. A lot of dirt in the female family.
I really like the Army Mules. I don't like the female family this horse is from at all, especially when you're talking about sprinting on the grass. Kelsey Danner, she doesn't have huge numbers with firsters, Dan, but you look her up, there are some prices in there. So she gets horses to outrun their odds first time out.
Dam's a full sister to Governor Charlie, who won the Sunland Derby. This one sold for $125,000 last year, breezed a furlong and 10 and change. Haley's Honor made her debut at Horseshoe, Indianapolis last fall, and kind of had a weird little trip, stuck behind horses that were kind of bolting on the turn, and she never really got a chance to run. She fired, and I have a feeling these connections tried to cash a ticket in this race at Tampa Bay, Mike, showing good speed. She's got a clear lead all the way down to the wire, and at first blush, you would say, this is a bad loss, but the horse that gets her is pretty good.
The horse that gets her is good, and when you watch it back on paper, it's disappointing. Even on video, it's disappointing, Dan. I mean, she looks like a winner past the 16th pole. She doesn't stop. This horse comes and runs her down at the end. I just thought it was a good performance by the winner and not a disappointment from Haley's Honor. I think she might be the horse to beat.
And that winner came right back and scored against first-level allowance competition at Tampa Bay with a 79 Beyer speed figure. Far and Few is the number 6, making her first start for trainer George Weaver. Now, maybe the jury's still out as to whether she's a turf horse, although the one turf race doesn't excite.
Yeah, the pedigree doesn't either. And this is a pretty solid female family. A lot of New York breds in there, and they could run, but they were mostly dirt horses, Dan. I don't know, man. Obviously improved the last time that we saw this filly, but her turf race, she did absolutely nothing in there.
At least it's a good sign that you showed a different running style, more speed last time out, sometimes an indicator of success. I'd like her a little bit more on the dirt. Baby Blocks is up next. This filly's got a little bit of speed. Now, she was wired last time out on turf, but she kind of got banged around at the start and couldn't get a position.
She wasn't ever in position. That's fair enough. She just sat at the back. She saved a lot of ground. They sort of got her to the outside in the stretch. I get that she made up some ground there, Dan, but I didn't really feel like she did a ton of running in that race. I don't know. I thought she was a pretty tough call in this race. At double-digit odds on the morning line, I guess I'm not going to argue too hard with her, but I didn't love her.
Perilous, tepid morning line favorite, the number 8, off the solid debut, turf debut in her 4th lifetime start. She's wired this day. She's going to swing to the outside and come with a good run to finish second. She earned a respectable 70 by her speed figure. She's the kind of filly that might need a little bit of pace help, but she took really nicely to the lawn.
Yeah, she did. She runs well in here. I mean, she is going to make up ground at the end of this race to get up for second. I don't know. I was kind of conflicted. I feel like she's going to be a short price in here. I thought overall she got a really good trip in that race last time and just sort of didn't do enough with it. But listen, maybe she just finds the right kind of field here against a bunch of firsters.
The number 9, Urgence, is a head scratcher. Look at this pedigree. She's by Into Mischief. She sold for $575,000 as a yearling. She took money for her debut on dirt. Brief speed, tired. The fans just jumped off the ship. She took no money last time out. She didn't run well again. Brendan Walsh is a very good trainer. I'm not sure there's a ton of turf in this pedigree, although the Into Mischiefs can do everything. If she can run, it's going to be here.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of feels like this is a little desperation here, Dan, with the surface switch, just because she's been so bad in her first 2 starts that they got to try something different here. She's not my kind of horse, but listen, she's a big price on the morning line, and maybe you'll actually get that at post time.
The other Mark Cassidy trained first-time starter is the number 10, Spinning, a $65,000 yearling, resold for $125 as a March 2-year-old, breezed in 10-1.
Yeah, breezed in 10-1. That, listen, she's a hard spun, so maybe that sort of makes me feel like might want a little more ground down the line. But this dam, she was okay. Her wins were sprinting on the dirt, but she stakes placed twice sprinting on the grass. So there's some pedigree here. Again, this Cassie has 2 firsters in here. This is the one I liked most.
I agree. I think this one is the preferred of the 2 Cassie trained first-time stars. There is some speed in the bottom of the pedigree. You mentioned the dam. She's also a half or a full to Edwards Gone Left, who is a pretty fast dirt horse in Southern California. And the dam is a half to Sibelius, who we all know is going back for a repeat in the Dubai Golden Shaheen. So Spinning, the half to Edwards Gone Left, should show some speed. Taprixie is going to try turf. She's shown speed on dirt thus far. Don't love the Taprets on the lawn. Only 6% with turf sprinters, but there's some synthetic pedigree certainly on the bottom. The dam half to She Be Wild, who won that odd Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies on the pro ride.
Exactly. I don't know, man. I look at this pedigree. I see Tapret out of a Union Rags mare, first-time turf. That's not for me, but this horse has run fine in her first 2 starts on dirt.
We'll have to deal with an outside post with speed to her inside. Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel. We've got Saudi Cup coverage, Rebel Stakes coverage, and lots more this week on the DRF YouTube channel. Top pick time Friday, DRF race today. We're both going to go with Haley's Honor. Like the performance at Tampa Bay, kind of blew a clear lead, but blew it to a good horse. She'll be right there when they turn for home.
Yeah, I thought both of her starts so far had at least something to recommend her in this race, Dan. Maybe she just found the right spot. If I decide to go against her, it's going to be because the 3 Her Diamonds is a really interesting price on debut.
You're going 5, 3, 8, and 10. I'm going 5, 8, 9, and 10. We both kind of like Spinning of the first-time starters, other than Her Diamonds, Mike's second pick. We'll see if Haley's Honor can repeat her performance at Tampa Bay in the 6th at Gulfstream Park on Friday. Good luck.